This is Kevin Moore from Timba.com with an introduction to Beyond Salsa Piano Volume 7, the second of 4 volumes on Melón Lewis. In the lengthy Volume 6 video, we established the pivotal roles of Melón, Isaac Delgado, and Alain Perez in the history of Cuban music, explained various technical details about the books, videos, and audio downloads, and discussed the songs covered in Volume 6. The key takeaway from that video is that with Isaac Delgado, each song becomes a study unto itself, growing and changing from night to night and from year to year. The first song covered in Volume 7 is Por qué paró, Isaac and Piloto's last great songwriting collaboration. The studio version on El Año Que Viene is a beautifully crafted, beautifully sung 5-minute pop song full of hooks and clever turns of phrase. But by 1997, it had grown into a monstrously powerful 20-minute live performance vehicle. Havana de Primera fans will recognize Alexandra Abreu's shout-out to this song in Resumen de los 90. So you're probably thinking, wasn't Charanga Habanera famously suspended by the government for 6 months after playing a festival in the summer of 1997? You're right, it was the same festival. It wasn't that Charanga Habanera did anything on live television that they weren't already doing every night in their nightclub act that got them, and not Isaac, suspended. What saved Isaac from the censor's axis was what he didn't include from his nightclub act, the racy dance contest sequence of Por qué paró. The festival version of Por qué paró stays in 2/3 and has no especuladora section. But fortunately, at least 3 complete live versions have been preserved on YouTube. The musical accompaniment for Por qué Paró's dance contest provides a perfect opportunity to hear timba gear changes in action, and we cover this in much greater detail in Volume 7 of the bass series. For this video, we'll look at it from the point of view of the pianist. Melón comps during the muela sections, and then, on Isaac's cue, he tears into a wild tumbao as the band breaks into presión gear and the dancer breaks out her best moves. It's the same progression as Por qué paró 1. 1, flat 7, 4, 5, but it's now in 3/2 clave, and Melón was able to come up with an endless number of breathtaking tumbaos for these key moments. The Café Cantante version is especially mind-boggling. When I sent it to Melón, who hadn't heard it since he'd played it years earlier, even he was taken aback as he transcribed his own flights of creativity. Instead of my normal approach of looping one time through the tumbao for each exercise, Porque Paros 7, 8, 9, and 10 are continuous transcriptions of portions of the dance contest. Each is dramatically different, and all are dramatically different from the corresponding sections of the Jardines and Palacio versions that can also be found on YouTube. Let's take a close look at Porque Paró 9. If you listen carefully to the 3 known live recordings of the dance contest section, you'll be amazed to discover that Melón was able to invent a beautiful and often shockingly original tumbao for every new dancer. Here's a bit of Porque Paró 10 with its amazing 5 against 4 opening. In addition to the 4 dance contest segments, there are 10 other transcriptions in Chapter 1. We compare the main hook tumbao, Porque Paró 1, to another famous Timba hook tumbao on exactly the same chord progression created by Juan Carlos González for Charanga Habaneras Para el Llanto. Porque Paró 2 is another important hook tumbao played by the synth player Boris Luna, later of Los Van Van, on the studio version and by Pepe Rivero on the live versions. Porque Paro 3 accompanies the horn interlude. Porque Paro 4A, 4B, 5, and 6 are controlled improvisation variations on the main tumbao, and Porque Paro 11, 12, and 13 are all examples of Melón and Alain's ultra-creative approach to comping behind Isaacs violas.
Familia, ¿alguien va a parar aquí la rumba? Seguimos para adelante. Seguimos.
Well, it's taken us all of Volume 6 and the first half of Volume 7 just to cover the three epic live arrangements that grew out of Melón's first album with Isaac, El Año Que Viene. Now we move on to the 1996 album, Otra Idea. Among the live juggernauts to emerge from this album was Luz Viajera, one of Isaac's greatest and most inexhaustible live vehicles, with a sublime arrangement by Melón himself.
Para todos los enamorados, Luz Viajera.
Yo solo sé que simplemente te perdí, como si fuera viajera de mis sueños en Bailando. Y así me ves, tratando en algo de arreglar esa emoción que me causa este momento en que tú no estás. Y voy a ver con quien quiera que haya que hablar.
Volume 7 includes various passages from the arrangement, but the Montuno section proper has but one tumbao, an extremely unusual beast that Melón found particularly conducive to controlled improvisation. We include a couple dozen of his variations. The basic idea combines R&B triads in the right hand with four-note whole-tone clusters in the left. Before leaving Luz Viajera, I can't resist pointing out an amazing master stroke that occurs on one particular live version, the 1997 Valentine's Day concert. We'll need to take two short side trips to set the stage for this magical moment. First is Luz Viajera 2, a hook bass tumbao doubled by the piano that separates coros 1 and 2.
Oye, pa' que se entere la gente en el mundo. Anyway, a ver, ¿cómo dice coro, coro, hey?
Quiero que se entere que entre todas las mujeres tú eres la que...
Next, we need to learn the most famous of the add-on coros.
Y el coro dice así, como dice. Ella dice que es la que él dice. Ella dice que es la que está como. Ella dice que es lo que anda. Soy yo quien, el que manda. Ella dice que es la que él dice.
Ella dice que es la que está.
Yo también. Ella dice que es lo que anda. Soy yo, vaya,
El que manda.
dice. Ella dice que es.
Having set the stage, we move on to the master stroke. In the following clip, watch Alain carefully as he cues the band to bring back the earlier bass hook underneath the new coro, creating a brilliantly foreshadowed bit of counterpoint that would have had J.S. Bach himself smiling in approval.
Soy yo el que manda. Soy yo el que manda. Soy yo el que manda. Soy yo.
Looking Ahead, Volume 8 covers 3 more songs from Otra Idea. Havana de Primera fans will recognize Alexandra Abreu's shout-out to this song in Resumen de los 90. This is Kevin Moore from Timba.com with an introduction to Beyond Salsa Piano Volume 7, the second of 4 volumes on Melón Lewis. In the lengthy Volume 6 video, we established the pivotal roles of Melón, Isaac Delgado, and Alain Perez in the history of Cuban music, explained various technical details about the books, videos, and audio downloads, and discussed the songs covered in Volume 6. The key hooks and clever turns of phrase, but by 1997, it had grown into a monstrously powerful 20-minute live performance vehicle.
Yo no voy a parar, vaya, aunque venga la policía y yo no voy a parar. Yo no voy a parar. Yo no voy a parar. Yo no voy a parar.
Takeaway from that video is that with Isaac Delgado, each song becomes a study unto itself, growing and changing from night to night and from year to year. The first song covered in Volume 7 is Por qué paró, Isaac and Piloto's last great songwriting collaboration. The studio version on El Año que Viene is a beautifully crafted, beautifully sung 5-minute pop song full of